Well, welcome back. Welcome anew to the Further Faster podcast. I'm Joseph McClendon III, and I'll be your host for this next little while in helping do exactly what the name implies. That is helping you go further, faster in whatever it is that you desire to help you become even more wealthy than you already are, healthy, happy, and financially abundant. And today, I've been so excited to have my guest here today for some time, as you'll hear in just a moment. And I'm just going to say this to you. If you have any desire to have more energy, to be healthier, to look better, especially into your older years, you're going to be excited you're here today. My guest today is Titus, and this man is an absolutely amazing human being. You're going to enjoy it. So grab a pad and paper, something you can take notes, and I'll be right back with you with Titus. Well, welcome back. Welcome back to the Further Faster podcast. And as I said before, I am extremely excited to have our guest on here today. And I'm going to start off by saying my father, when I was a kid, he used to always say that the best way to go faster and to be more successful is find somebody that's doing and has done what you want to do and model them. And that is really the crux, the foundation of Further Faster. It's been kind of my secret weapon, or one of my secret weapons as well. And I'll share with you that when you think of somebody that is an influencer, most of us think about somebody in their, say, early 20s to their mid 30s, and they're trendy and, on the top of everything. And this man that I'm going to bring on today, this amazing human being we're going to talk to today, has absolutely broken the mold. And I'm going to share with you how I came to be aware of him. Was about 5 years ago. I was doing a seminar, a very large seminar in San Diego. And usually what happens is the security for the event will meet me at my door, and they'll escort me through they will always go to the service elevators, down the elevators, through the kitchen, in the back, in the halls of the back of the venue, so we don't go through the crowd and cause a corruption or some sort of commotion. And so this particular day, they showed up at my door and they said, okay, well, listen, Mr. McClendon, and my girlfriend was with me at the time. They said, listen, the service elevator is broken, so we're going to have to go through the lobby. We're going to take you through the lobby, but just stay close to us and we'll get you through there. And I said, no problem. I've done that before. And so we go down the elevator and we go through the lobby, is crowded and everything. And we're moving. These guys are moving pretty fast through the lobby and through the crowd. And all of a sudden, I look over and there is a full-size poster. I want to say banner, one of those vinyl banners that they have. And there was this amazing human being on there. And I looked at it, and across the bottom, it said Titus. Now, it was obviously this man was a model, and he was dressed to the nines, head to toe. And I looked at this guy, and I thought, well, there's somebody to model. This man was just amazing. Salt and pepper beard, and just so in shape, and he just exuded energy. And I said, who is this guy? And the security's going, we got to keep moving. And my girlfriend goes, oh, that's Titus. Everybody knows about him. And I go, really? And so we went on and did the seminar. And later on, I went back and I started to check this guy out. And lo and behold, it wasn't just obviously, he's not just a pretty picture. This man has a passion for helping people become healthier, become happier, have more energy, get more out of life, and look good into their older years. And I'm going to share with you a little bit. I'll just read a little bit about who this guy is. His name is Gene Titus, and he's a highly sought after wellness expert. He's a coach, he's a speaker, and a TV personality. He's a former financial advisor, and he worked for industry giants such as Morgan Stanley and Citicorp for over a decade. He currently owns his own business, and actually several businesses, and is a dedicated advocate to the health and wellness industry known as Titus Unlimited. Unbelievable name. I love that. And he's also the sole owner of Unlimited Supplements. We'll talk a little bit about that here in just a little bit. And he's become a social media wellness icon with over 400,000 followers and over 200 million YouTube views. He's been featured in numerous publications, including Muscle and Fitness Magazine, ESPN, and The Steve Harvey Show. And he's also the co-founder, and I absolutely love this, of the Silver Fox Squad. You got to see these men. It's a group of distinguished, mature gentlemen who are entrepreneurs and businessmen and professionals in various fields. And then they seek to put forward a positive image of older men that support their communities, lead by example, and add value to the people around them. And Titus wants everybody to know to focus on your strength and realize that the one thing that money can't buy is good health and wellness. So it is my pleasure to bring to the show Titus. Titus, thank you so much for being on Further Faster. And there's that smile.
Thank you so much.
Say, listen, as I said, I have followed you for some time, and I use you as an example of what is possible as I get into my later years as well. And I want to start off just by saying, tell us a little bit about you. Obviously, your bio I read there, but a little bit about you. What makes you do what you do?
Well, first of all, when you read the bio, I was very flattered because I'm like, wait a minute, he's talking about me or something like that. Is there another Titus? But no, what makes me do what I do is because I strive to be the best that I can possibly be. I believe in mining the most out of myself. I always talk about us being a $5 block of iron, and the value you get out of yourself is how much time, energy, and effort you put into your $5 block of iron to develop it. And based on that, then you can then now add value to people and the spaces around you. So I think it's incumbent on me as a man that I get the most out of myself because I deserve the best from myself. And then I can then deliver the best of me to other people and increase value. And that's what I believe value is. So that's what I do. It's about me being the best version of myself for me, and then being able to deliver that to everyone and everything around me.
Spectacular. I love this. Share with us a little bit about what got you into this. Because as I said before, most people, when we think about an influencer on that, we're looking at the youngins that are out there, if you will. And, before we started the show, you were talking about even learning that was, you and I were talking about that our skill is not in being in the technical side of things. But tell us a little bit about what you got you started as being a social media icon, if you will.
Well, I think icon is very flattering, but I kind of, it happened. It was happenstance. Okay. Honestly, I wasn't into social media, but somehow my daughter took a picture of me. Long story short, it went viral. And then I got convinced to, post more pictures. And as I started posting more pictures, I decided, well, I just don't want to be somebody just posting pictures. So I wanted to add more value. So I started, talking about the mentality that went into being who I am. And then I realized there was a gap there with people actually talking about, what wellness really is. Everybody talks about working out, but
right.
Wellness is more than just doing push-ups or burpees. Wellness is about mind, body, and soul. And so I started to put that together and talk to people about that, and also bring my particular expertise that I've garnered over 20 some odd years about how to take care of the human body, how to rid ourselves of disease, how to basically defy age and stuff. And so, that's how I got started. It was by accident. And I always tell people, success belongs to those who can recognize opportunity before it becomes obvious. And I was fortunate to be able to recognize the opportunity to be able to bring value to people. And so that's what I did.
And I love that about you as well. You're a gentle soul, and people look to you, self included. When I first started tuning into you, you inspired me by what you do, the man that you are and the way you walk this planet. And it made me, as you said before, it made me really feel like, well, here's somebody else that's doing it and they're putting it out there to other people. The least I can do is try some of that out. And I'll be honest with you, as I said, and I watch you work out sometimes, and you don't just work out, but you talk to people as you do, and you talk to them about mindset, and you talk to them about how they think and how they feel and that kind of thing. Share with us some of your beliefs about this mind-body connection that you talk about so often, so much.
Well, I always talk about congruence. Okay. And a lot of the reason why a lot of people are not happy because they're not congruent. And congruence first starts with your beliefs. People think it's what you think, but it's not what you think, because your thoughts are generated from your beliefs in yourself, your beliefs in your capabilities, your beliefs in your limitations, your beliefs in your place as it stands in, the universe. So your beliefs. What do you believe? Why do you believe that? Where did that belief come from? Have you ever questioned that belief? Because your beliefs are the basis of everything that you're going to say and or do. Now, when you go from your beliefs generate your thoughts. So what do you think now? Okay. Based on what you believe, are you thinking the same thing? Or do you have conflicting thoughts because you're being influenced by other things? And those thoughts, that thinking now influences the things you say and trickles down to the things you do. And what you will find with a lot of people is they believe one thing. They sometimes think sort of different. They say one thing, but then their actions don't line up. And what does that do? That promotes disharmony. That promotes conflict and friction. Yeah. Okay. Right. And when you have that friction, you cannot be happy, you cannot be successful, you cannot stay on message. Okay. And you will never be fulfilled. So it's about, number one, lining up your beliefs with your thoughts, with your words, and then your actions. And you'll have consistency and congruence.
And so what do you do? First off, you and I are on the same page. You're absolutely preaching to the choir on that one. My institute, Neuroencoding Institute, that's what we talk about, is that our beliefs about ourselves, we call it their psychology. Your psychology is your beliefs about yourself, other people, and the world around you. And that creates the core beliefs about ourselves. What do you say to somebody that, first off, if they start to recognize that my beliefs do not correlate with my actions, and there is that friction or that incongruency, how would you suggest to somebody to change that? For instance, somebody knows that they got to stop eating so much cake and to get into the gym, only that's their belief. They know that, but then they also have a core belief inside of them that they're not that strong a person, or that they're weak, or that they procrastinate. What would you say to somebody to get beyond that and put the cake aside?
Have you ever questioned that belief that you're not that strong a person? I always tell people about taking inventory of yourself. All right. Have you taken inventory of all the things you've overcome in your past? Have you taken inventory of your capacity? Okay. Why don't you believe you're capable of that? I had that very same thing happen with somebody who told me they were not consistent. I'm just not a consistent person. And I had to ask her, I said, well, where does that come from? I said, when I talked to you, one of the things you told me, you've been at your job for 20 years and you're a supervisor. You don't rise to the level of supervisor unless you've displayed some level of consistency, not only consistency to keep the job, but consistency now that they place other people under your supervision. So not only are you consistent, you're highly consistent and highly reliable. You just choose not to be consistent when it comes down to this. And the moment you decide to apply the same consistency that you give to other people, your job, to yourself, your standards, and your beliefs in who you are, all of a sudden,
stuff starts to change. So get them to question that belief and show them that belief is not true, and that it shows up in other areas, and it can show up in these areas as well. Well done.
Exactly.
And so share with us a little bit about what because I know, and I mentioned in the very beginning, you have a supplement line, and I watch you, and I got to be honest with you, man, I sit down and I'll watch you make a meal, and I'll go out to the store and buy the exact same thing and come back and make it myself, because it's one of the things what I'm talking about here, guys, is that if you, and we'll put all this in the description, because I want you to follow this man. If you got any desire to have better health and energy, follow him, because he'll show you how to cook. He'll show you how to eat. He'll show you how to move your body and everything. So when you look at what fuels the body, give us a little bit about your beliefs about the right types of fuels and the right types of things we need to put in our bodies, especially as we get older, because the one thing that is going to happen to us all is we're going to get older.
Well, that's also not necessarily as true as it sounds. People say your hormones change when you get old. The truth is, you get old when your hormones change, and you control that hormonal balance with the things you eat and the activities you engage in. Of course, we get older. Of course, our bodies stop producing certain hormones as readily. But when you eat a certain way, exercise a certain way, and tailor your lifestyle a certain way, you have a lot more control over that than you've been led to believe. Okay. And so, the best things that you can do for yourself are the basics. Number one, a lot of people need to stop poisoning themselves. Look at the processed food you eat. Look at the excess sugar, the lack of nutrient dense meals that you consume. When you start to reduce that and you start to, focus more on getting the proper nutrients, getting the proper sleep, getting the proper activities that encourages your body to produce certain hormones. All right. Understanding that the things that you need most are sleep, reduction of stress, high quality minerals in your body, since we're carbon-based beings. Are you getting the proper amount of protein? All right. And then are you now, because you're a guy or a girl, because certain hormones like, HGH and testosterone or whatever are not readily available as much as it was in your 20s, are you doing activities that are going to make your body produce more? Okay. We talk about even things like bone density. As you get older, guess what? Your bone density gets less and less. Are you doing things to promote better bone density? What promotes better bone density? Simple things like resistance training or, lifting or handling heavier weights. Why? Because your body responds by creating denser bones to be able to accommodate that. So you don't just get old like that. Things change, and because things change, your hormones change, and then that leads to you getting old. But you control a lot of those things.
Right. So looking and feeling older. I guess what I meant by we're all going to age, meaning we're going to get up in years. I just celebrated my 69th birthday last weekend. And I want to say,
listen, Joseph, stop for a second, man. What I don't like is when people lie to me, tell me you 69. There's no way in the world you're 69. You know what I'm saying? We can cut the interview right now. There's no way.
No, it's true. It's true. 69.
Wow.
1953. Yes. And that's why I'm having you on the show, man. You are an example of that as well. You're an example of what you just said. We get up in years, but we don't have to look at and or feel it. And I'll share with you the things that you just said right there, that everybody, you need to listen to that, because the truth of the matter is, and I wanted to ask you before I share what I'm going to say, how long have you been on this journey of health and wellness and these beliefs that you have about yourself, keeping yourself in shape? Just yourself, because I know
my mindset about this shifted when my mother died in 2020, in 2001. Okay. That's when my mindset shifted. I've always been an athlete, but I wasn't as focused on my health. I was very informed about health because my dad was a doctor. So, the medical side of things, I was reading my dad's medical books when I was 7. So I understood a lot about that. Yeah. But, putting into real life practice with myself and, wanting to know the reasons why my mother passed away, because she was fairly healthy, So that part, I've been on that journey now for the last maybe 22 years plus.
Ironically, that's similar with me. I changed my diet. I changed my whole belief system. I guess it was 80. I want to say 87. I changed everything. I won't go into that right now, but I changed everything, what I believe about myself, how I ate, how I moved. Because up until then, I was like everybody else. I got flus and colds and was tired and all that stuff and everything, but I changed it. And my mom, she was diagnosed with terminal cancer in 1988. And in 88, that's when I shifted everything. And I had shifted it the year before, and I started to work with her as well. And as you probably know, my background is I'm a neuropsychologist. So I got to work with her mindset as well. They told her that she had only 2 months to live. Actually, they didn't tell her, they told me. And I wouldn't allow them to tell her that because I didn't want to put it in her mind. And by changing her diet, changing her mindset, changing how she moved, she lived another 11 and a half years. And that's what put me on that course of doing that as well. And I wanted to share with you, I had prior to COVID, I had a retreat in Marbella, Spain, and in Geneva, Switzerland, where I would bring people in. To your point about you can people know what they have to do, but they don't do what they know. And I would get these people in there it first started off to be 5 days, and then it would be 11 days. And I'd get them in there. The only thing they got to eat, see, or experience was what I showed them. And it was remarkable what happened in such a short amount of time. And we work on their beliefs as well and change things as well. And I'm super, super curious about, the supplementation that you have. And please, matter of fact, let's do this. Because I said supplementation, Let's take a short break, and when we come back, I'd like to talk more in depth about your beliefs about that and why you created that and what that means. And then next, I want to talk to you about the silver fox, because I look at those gentlemen, and again, I model you and I model what you're doing as well. So we're going to take a break real quick, and we'll be right back.
You're enjoying this episode on Angel Phoenix Productions Podcast Network. To explore a complete lineup of quality programs and media production services, head on over to angelphoenix.com or like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Angel Phoenix Productions.
Well, welcome back. Welcome back. You know, while we were on the break, Titus and I were talking, and we decided somewhere in between there, well, wait a minute, why don't we get to turn on the microphone and capture some of this stuff that we're talking about as well? Because a lot of good stuff was going by. And Titus, I'm going to tell you ahead of time that Titus has agreed to come back because we only got like 11 minutes left in here. So we're going to be back again. Now, before we left, I mentioned that, Titus, you have your own supplement line. And I want you to share with everybody a little bit about that and what your beliefs are and what you believe about why people should supplement.
Well, let's start off by saying, understand that supplements are what they are. Supplements. Okay. It is not meant to replace a good diet and a good lifestyle and proper movement. It is there to bridge your gaps, your nutritional gaps, where your diet may not be able to make it all up. All right. Supplements are not magic pills. They're not going to take one supplement and all you got to do is take this. And then all of a sudden you're going to,
right.
It doesn't work like that. Okay. That being said, the reason why I started my supplement company is because one of the things I noticed is a lot of these other supplement companies out there sell subpar supplements. They don't use really good quality materials. Low dosage, all these things like that. And I decided if I was going to promote something, I had to have control over the quality. And so I strive to make sure, and I think my track record and the reviews that I've gotten has made sure that we give people great quality, great service, and we actually aim to solve people's issues as opposed to just make money. Trust me, there's enough money to be made. And, I would be lying if I said, we're not profitable. But I'm not going to be profitable at the expense of someone else's health. I won't cut corners in order to do that. And so, in my opinion, that's what a lot of people do. And I decided I wasn't going to do that. That's why I formulated my own.
It's fantastic. And that is one of the things that I absolutely love about you, man, and it comes through in everything that you say, everything that you do. And again, I'm telling everybody ahead of time, we'll have it in the description. Please follow this man. And, you can go back. He's got an archive of probably a couple hundred, if not a couple thousand videos. And you look back and you'll get the integrity that this man has, and that what he just said is his heart. And he really is. I said at the top of this that as soon as I started to just kind of dig deep into who this person was, I started to realize that his passion comes from, he really does care and he really does want to make a difference in people's lives. And I love what you just said there with regard to this does not replace movement. And by the way, I've heard you say this several times, that it's not, you go in and you work out, you were an athlete and you've got that about you, but most people are not. And so it's not about going and killing yourself in the gym every time. It's about going in there and moving your body in such a way that causes your body to do those things. The bones grow strong with impact and the muscles grow strong with stress, and to do those things to the point that your body starts to respond. And so, and again, supplementation, you said this before the break with regard to, our bodies do stop producing as many of the things that we did when we were younger, and we can supplement by doing that. So, and again, everybody, I encourage you, I'm saying this is not a pitch. I'm just saying at the beginning of this show, I said, if you've got a desire to look better, to feel better, to have more energy as you progress in your life, you want to make a difference. You want to make a change. And so before we move on to the Silver Fox Club, because I want to talk about that, I want to talk a little bit about your beliefs about movement. What do you believe? And let's look at it this way. Again, you're an athlete, and I watch you work out. It inspires me to work out. I go, well, listen, if this guy can do it, then I certainly can do it as well. Because I look at you, you're such a great example of what is possible. What do you say to the average person about how much they would work out and move their body in order to start getting some results?
Well, if you go back to the beginning of time, humans are hunters and gatherers. All right. The most basic exercise still works, which is walking.
Yeah.
Walking. Okay. Everybody doesn't have to go to the gym and deadlift 400 pounds. Everybody doesn't have to bench, but you have to have the capacity to hunt, gather, and procreate. And the activities that you will engage in that will be able to keep you in good form to be able to do that are simple, basic things like movement, walking. Maybe a slight jog here and there, eating properly, not allowing yourself to be overweight, not overindulging. If you look in the animal kingdom, there's not a single overweight animal, because for animals, being overweight or anything in excess equals death.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Beautifully put. And, I've been meaning to say this as I listened to you talk. And we were on the break and you were talking about there's a mural of yourself. Where was it, in South America somewhere?
There's one in Brazil, and there's another one in like Indonesia or something like that.
There's one. He didn't even know that it was there.
No idea.
Because I asked him, I said, do you remember what the poster that I saw, what it was? And he goes, man, I don't even look at that stuff. He says, and then he told me about the mural. And I wanted to say, my girlfriend at the time was not saying, oh yeah, that's just Titus. The look in her eyes was, oh, that's Titus. So, whether you want to claim it or not, you're a sex symbol to the world out there. Otherwise, they wouldn't paint, life-size murals of you everywhere as well. And, I love what you just said with regard to the basic things in life. We're on the same page with that. I tell people, because most people, the farthest they walk is from their house to their car, or from their office to their car. And maybe to the lunch line at the cafeteria or something like that. Most of us have sedentary lives, and just the simple things like walking and moving your body and things like that. So let's shift gears just for a little bit in these last few minutes that we have here. I want to talk about something, and I want everybody to go and check it out. Tell me a little bit about what started. Tell us a little bit about the Silver Fox Club, and then what started it and what you guys are doing.
Well, so it's the Silver Fox Squad. And
Squad. Yes.
Squad. What started it actually was me and the primary founder, or Irvin Randall. We were the two older Black guys out there on social media who had gray beards and were basically taking the world by storm. Who were these old guys who dressed well and what have you? And we decided to bring a group of guys together who had similar look, and it has just kind of morphed over time as this group of guys who are inspiring people to change their perception of aging, especially men, to change your perception of aging. And because, it used to be people would think that once you hit 40, the game was over. And, take, for instance, Irvin Randall, he went viral around about 54, right? And in a 6-year period of time, he's gone from, mind you, he has a great career as a school teacher, but he's gone from a mere school teacher to basically an international fashion icon in 6 years, right?
Nice.
And so it's about the possibilities that we have as we age. And just because you're a certain age doesn't mean life is over. There's a whole lot we can do if we open ourselves up to life, if we open ourselves up to possibilities and the opportunities that life is willing to give us. And that can be at any point. It's never too late to be your greatest self. And so that's why, one of the things that we enjoy doing is inspiring people, is showing people, like I said, the possibilities. So it's more than just about putting on snazzy clothes and looking good. It's about inspiring. And I do believe that inspiration is the best thing you can give to anyone. All right. Because if I can inspire you to be your best self, right, I too am then forced to be my best self. And it's one of those things, the gift that just keeps giving.
And that is so, so important right now, because there's so little, I was having a conversation with my son a couple of days ago that the world has been shrunk down to this size. I'm holding up my cell phone right now. And unfortunately, that cell phone is designed to keep us stressed and keep that cortisol pumping through us. And to have people inspire us like yourself, to have people that are out there saying this is what is possible, and to have people at a younger age start to recognize that what you just said is true. When you hit 30 or 40 and 50 years old, life actually can start. And so to take care of yourself now so that when you are those, as you go through your life, you have all that energy and everything. And so we only have a few minutes left here, but I want to, first off, how do they reach you? How do they get in touch with you? How do they follow you? I know we're going to put it up here on the screen here, but for those of you that are listening, you want to write this down.
Well, it's very easy to find me. Everything is just Titus Unlimited. All right. And so as soon as you go into the Google section, you put Titus Unlimited, everything comes up, the videos, all those things. One time I went there, I was even surprised how many different things are there. So Titus Unlimited, my TitusUnlimited.com is my website where you can go and you can find my supplement line. And then you can also book a consultation with me if you want to talk one-on-one with me about your particular things. So yeah, Titus Unlimited is easy.
Spectacular. And do you mind if I ask, where are you based? Where are you from?
I currently live in Miami, Florida.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
I was just
I used to be in DC. Now I moved to Miami.
Yeah. Why?
Come on now. No,
yeah, I know.
I live by the motto, you don't postpone life. You live your best life. And I wasn't going to wait until I retire, whatever that means. I don't even believe in that. Until I retire to live where I want to live and do what I want to do. I believe that's why we work hard in life. And so I always love the atmosphere. I love the weather down here. And so, I wake up every day and I'm grateful for having the opportunity to do that. And I took advantage of that opportunity as opposed to waiting until some magical, perfect time in the unpromised future.
Again, preaching to the choir, another one of my dad's sayings was, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. Next best time is right now. And I feel you on that. I don't do cold at all. I was born in cold, but when I was about 5 years old, we moved to Hawaii. And I lived there till I was 12. And the rest of the time I've been in Southern California. I did live in Florida for a little while, but I don't do cold at all. Titus, thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you also again for agreeing to come back, because there's so much more I want to dig deep in. And everybody, please make sure that you don't just follow him, but also, take heed of the things that he says, learn from him, because these are the things that make the difference. This man is such a shining example of what is possible for not just himself, but for everybody. And again, that's one of the things that he puts out there, is he wants to make sure that everybody gets it again. So Titus, again, thank you so, so much.
Thank you so much, Joe. And once again, it's all about me trying to inspire people to be the best version of themselves. All right. Not to emulate me, but to even be better, especially if you're younger, you have the time. Invest in your $5 block of iron.
Beautiful. Well, listen, everybody, thank you again so much. He will be back. And remember this, that life is always, always, always exactly what you dare to make it. And fortune favors the bold. This has been the Further Faster podcast, and I look forward to serving you, and I'll see you at the top.
This podcast was a production of Angel Phoenix Productions. Explore more episodes of this show or other great shows on the Angel Phoenix Podcast Network by visiting angelphoenix.com. The views expressed in this show do not necessarily represent those of Angel Phoenix Productions or its advertisers, and may contain language that's unsuitable for younger listeners.